In this example, we need to evaluate by hand, then check our work with a calculator. For the first one, we have log base 3 of 81. This is asking 3 to what power is 81? And to help you see that, I'm going to introduce a variable. Let's just let this whole thing equal x. Now we have a logarithmic equation. We can change this back into an exponential. So this is 3 to the x power is equal to 81. We can change the 81 into 3 to the 4th power. If you have one base on each side of an equation, it's the same base, then you're allowed to set the exponents equal to each other, so x will be 4. In other words, 3 to the 4th power is 81. So when you read these logarithms, you want to start to try to think about them as just an exponent problem. And definitely we're on the right track here. 3 to the 4th power is 81, so we're good to go. If you evaluated this in your calculator, here's what it would look like. You can type in log, and you can see that your calculator has a log of base 10. So actually when we type this into the calculator, we need to use something called the change of base formula. What that is if you want to change the base, you can write this as a division problem. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the number 81 here, it's in the argument position, it's the bigger number, and you're going to write it up in the top. And the 3, even though it's a base here, if we change bases, this actually will be in the argument position of the logarithm on the bottom. So when you evaluate this, we know that a logarithm with base 10 is just a log, and this one is the same thing. So in your calculator, you can see that your calculator has a common logarithm button here, but we can still use that even though this isn't a common logarithm to evaluate that. So what we want to do is we want to type in log of 81 over, close your parenthesis of course, log of 3. And that should get us our answer of 4. And it definitely does, so we can do this by hand or using the change of base, and I'll write that down here, this is change of base. We can also evaluate this with our calculator. Let's try that on the next one. So with the next one, we can introduce a variable, set this whole left side equal to x, and this is really asking us, 7 to what power is 7? Well, the answer is 1. To show you how this works, we're going to change this into exponential form. So you can see here that the base is 7, the exponent is x, and the argument comes over here to the right-hand side. So 7 to the x power, or 7 to the first on the right-hand side, x must be 1. So if you ever have a base and an argument being the same, the value of this whole expression is just 1. And I guess really I shouldn't write x equals because I've introduced that x. I should probably just write 1. And we'll fix that on the left-hand side as well. Just get rid of this x equals. Just like if you had 5 times 2, that's 10. X is not 10, it's just 10. So an expression here, there's no variables in the expression. That's just, the value is just equal to 1. We're using a variable to help us to understand what's going on here, but really we should just list the value itself. If we type this in our calculator, here's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like log, remember the base is 10 of 7, that's the bigger number here, over log of the smaller number, log of 7. And so a log 7 over log 7, one thing over itself, that's definitely 1. And if we type that in our calculator, we can actually see that happening as well. So we've got log of 7 over log of 7, and when we hit enter, there we have it as being 1. Log of 8, log base 8 of 1. Again, we're going to introduce a variable x. This is 8 to the x power is equal to 1. So what, any number, in this case 8, what is 8 to some power equal to 1? Well, the sum power must be 0. 8 to the 0 power is 1. So x in this case is 0, and we can just list 0. So anytime you have 1 in the argument position here of the log right next to the base, anytime that's 1, the value, doesn't matter what the base is, because the base is just, it could be anything here, anything to the 0 power is definitely 1. So anytime you see this 1 here in the argument position, your solution here for this expression is going to be 0. We can type this in also. We can type in log 1 over log 8 using our change of base formula in the calculator. So if we do that, we've got log 1 divided by log of 8. Hit enter, and we do indeed get 0.